Good job. Good job, honey. There's some big rounds of wood, ain't they? All right, here I am back out at that roadside logging again. Carter's with me too. He's kind of back there by my truck, and as you can see there, we're in the shade. So what we did was kind of rode a lot of those rounds over there that I had left. I don't have the footage of it. Actually, I think I do have the footage. I just haven't uploaded it of me bucking the rest of those rounds from that log itself, and getting them down there to that flat spot. But I ended up getting every bit of this stuff split, and that's there next to me. And I don't know if you can notice, but back there to the right of me and up there, you know, kind of at the foot of that hill, you can see some split wood. I don't know if you can tell that or not. So this tree ended up making quite a bit of wood. Like I said, around a full cord, well, actually a little over a full cord of wood. So I'm pretty happy with that. I've got quite a few connections this year for wood, and that's always a good thing if you're doing firewood. That's something you need to have. If you're going to do firewood, you need to have connections for the wood, or a way to get the wood, you know, whether that's tree services, you know, Craigslist, people with logged out land, people, you know, who have a lot of trees come down or whatever. You need a pretty consistent source of wood, because it takes a lot of wood to make these loads, and lots of people don't realize, lots of trees to fill these loads up, especially a face cord if you're delivering by, or a full cord, I'm sorry, if you're delivering a full cord of wood. A face cord's around a truck bed, 6-foot truck bed. But lots of people don't realize how much wood it takes. Like, for example, all of this wood that you see here that I'm splitting, it took every bit of that to fill the truck bed up. And then there was a little bit left as well, though. But like I said, lots of people don't realize how much it takes. These are very big rounds of wood, and they had a lot of pieces of wood in them. I'm always sometimes kind of surprised, you know, when I split wood, and just to see how much, you know, of a tree it takes to even fill up a truck bed. I think it would surprise a lot of people. But so that's one thing you need to have, is a consistent source of wood. And I've been pretty blessed with that, honestly, throughout, you know, this 6 years of me doing firewood and selling firewood. And this year is a really good year as well. I've got a lot of sources this year, actually. The tree service being one, you know, the cherry wood pile being 2, Mill Creek is number 3. That place right there was just temporary, but and then I've also got, so I think those 3 are the main consistent ones, the ones I named just now. But then I've also got a place right down the road there now where I can go get wood, and I don't think it's a whole lot of wood. It's just kind of some extra wood. But those 3 spots that I named a little bit ago, they should be pretty consistent through the year. The place that I call the cherry wood pile, she even told me that if I wanted to, you know, drop some trees there, that I could do that. And I don't plan to do that with any of them except dead ones, but I seen a huge dead oak there not long ago while I was there, so that would be a good place to get a lot of extra wood. She has some cherry too out there. That's why I call it the cherry wood piles, because when I first went out there, which I think was last year or the year before, maybe the year before actually, she had a lot of big cherry piled up. Some of the guys were disappointed because they were saying, you know, that would have made some great wood to mill, and they're right, it would have. But I ended up using it all for firewood. But you know, I guess if I may try to do that a little bit later on, when I get a saw specifically for milling, and maybe kind of mill some wood on the side, because I do believe you can make some decent money doing that as well. But I haven't messed with logs. 61 pieces, Carter. 61 pieces in that one round. That's not counting the mush that I got out of it and threw over there to your side. Just the wood. There's 61 pieces of wood in there. That's more than I thought. I was way off. Wasn't I? I was thinking like 30, 40, but I did say possibly 50 pieces. I think I said 30 to 50. That had, how many did I say, 64? 61? 61 pieces in that one, if I count it correctly. I know there's at least 60, if I'm not mistaken. And some of those can actually be split down more like that one right there can. This one can too. So, yeah, I'd say more like 65 in that round. I'll do another one to see though. I'll do this one, see how many's in it. That's a lot of wood. These little ones out here, you can hit them once and they split easy. I remember though when I started my firewood business, when I started my own business, you know, when I started doing lawn care and landscape, and I was on my way to a factory, and I was just so disappointed with that job, the pay, and then just because the position that they told me I had there, after telling me I had it already and me proving I could do it and do very well at it actually, it paid very good. They ended up putting some other guy back there because he had seniority over me. And I was so disappointed after that, just because I wasn't making a whole lot there. I didn't like the work I was doing, and I never did like factory work. To this day, I do not like it. But anyways, I remember I was on my way to work one day, and third shift, and I ended up just passing up the driveway. To get to work. You know, I passed up, and I went home. I told Chassie, I said, Chassie, I'm done there. I said, we're going to use our tax return this year, and I'm going to get some equipment and start doing lawn care. That's exactly what I did, and did it for lawn care for 3 years by myself. I did it for a commercial company for around a year, so I got my experience like that. That gave me the confidence to go out and do it on my own. And then after that, I went into landscaping and did landscaping for about 2 years. And the landscaping in my area, at least, was just hit and miss. And honestly, I probably could have pushed better, but didn't. But it wasn't just lawn care though. That lawn care was just an avenue I seen to go into to work for myself. Not that I didn't like lawn care, I did love it, but I always liked commercial better, doing the big Derby horse farms and stuff like that, than I did residential. When I worked for myself, I mainly did residential. I think I had maybe 2 commercial properties, and I did enjoy it, but it's not something I want to do my entire life, honestly. It was, but just it was something, an avenue of kind of working for myself. Lawn care was, and since then I've known that my goal in the end is to work for myself for the rest of my life, and whatever that may be. I was so desperate to work for myself. I was about to start, and I'm not trying to put this industry down at all, because I've seen some guys do very well with it. But I was about to go full time into scrapping, just scrap metal. Because I wanted to work for myself so bad, and because I was watching another guy on YouTube who was doing it full time and who seemed to be doing really well at it. And the man just seemed happy working for himself. And so I knew I wanted to work for myself. I've known that, you know, pretty much my whole life. When I used to work with my papa as a little boy, they would do roofing and stuff. My papa had his own roofing business. My dad and my uncle would help him. When I was a little boy, I'd go and I'd clean the shingles up for him, you know. And I've known really ever since then, you know, that I wanted to work for myself, really. I started out in factories when I was 18, and then I got in the union and sheet metal when I was 19. Did that for a little while, and I've done quite a bit of other things. But I know without a doubt, even trucking, when it comes to trucking, it's not that I don't like trucking, which, I mean, honestly, over the road is not something I'd ever consider doing long term with my kids. It just isn't, and I said that from the beginning with that. But it's what I don't like is just working for an employer. I never have. I've always found some reason to just be very unhappy there, whether it's the leadership, and lots of the times it is the leadership, honestly. Most places you go, most places I've went have bad leadership. I don't know about everywhere. And I've probably got a lot less patience for that than some people do. And part of that is because I work for myself now, and I know I can always fall back on that if I have to. Especially during firewood season, you know. As far as lawn care goes, I don't do that anymore, but firewood season, I know I can fall back on that because I can do that all winter. I have for the last 5 years. This winter here makes 6 that I'm doing firewood. The last 5, I've done it full time in the winter. So it's something that I know I can fall back on if I need to. And another thing I'm planning on getting into, I've said this before, is towing for myself, you know, not for a company, but for myself, and roadside assistance as well, not just towing. Because that's what I've been trained to do, is roadside assistance and towing, but also a small car lot is what I'd like to do. and kind of flipping vehicles. You know, I've actually flipped quite a few vehicles in just the last probably 4 years or so. But you know, with a dealer's license, once you get your dealer's license, you can go to auction stuff, dealer only auctions, and you can get some better deals and stuff like that. So that's something I'm really excited about. Something I'm really looking forward to, and a goal that I intend to make happen too. I've had quite a few goals that I'm intended to make happen. You know, trucking, I made that happen. And then I did it for a while. It just, after the one job, it went so good. Everything was going so good until they tried to change my schedule and pretty much told me that I'd never know when I was going to be home. And then that, to me, was unacceptable. And at that point, I was kind of just, in my mind, okay, this is just what trucking is. In my mind is what I was thinking, you know. I'm not, they make it sound like it's this, and then when you get in there, after you're a month in or so, then they hit you with something like, well, you're actually never going to know when you're home.
Got some knots in it.
So that just really disappointed me. And at that point, I said, okay, I'm just going to try to do something else for now. And so I got into towing.
38.
But right now, Firewood has been keeping me pretty busy too. I'm very happy to do Firewood. Today was in the 60s during the day, and then tonight it's in the 50s. And so, somebody messaged me from the marketplace on Facebook earlier and was asking if the wood was still available, and I told him, yeah, I've got a load actually loaded in there. That load right here that I'm doing is loaded in my truck, so I was able to get a full truckload out of this plus some more. And the stuff that you see in the middle, that dirty stuff, what I did with that was threw that to a side in its own pile. But these rounds here, you can't hear me talking, but I counted how many pieces I got out of these rounds, and I may have miscounted by a little bit, give or take. But there was one that I got 70 pieces of wood out of, one of these rounds. I was saying before I thought 30 to 50 pieces. One of them I got 70, one I think I got 65, another one I got 55. So these rounds were just a lot of wood. And it really makes a big difference when you get these big rounds. And this stuff's good to split. That double bit just made it look hard, honestly, that double bit I had the other day. It just made this wood look hard. That double bit just wasn't made for splitting. A guy told me here a while back in the comments that a double bit, he knows or something. One thing he knows is that a double bit would split better than a Fisker's in anything or something like that. And he's wrong for sure, but he can think what he wants. I'd be happy to compare, you know, that Fisker's to whatever axe anybody else wants to compare with, and I mean that. Like I'd be happy to, you know, when these guys say things, you know, like, that's not a good axe, that's a toy axe, throw that down, get a real axe. This axe splits better, my double bit splits better. Most double bits are made for chopping, for one thing. There are some double bits out there that you'll get every now and then. Well, maybe even quite a bit in some places that have good profiles for splitting and that do great in the right woods. But most double bit, the double bit axe itself, the double bit, is designed for chopping. That's what they're designed for. From what I understand, one edge was made for cutting branches. You wanted to keep that sharp, or maybe that was the edge that you wanted to keep dull, was the one that you used for cutting branches, or not as sharp anyways. And then the one that you wanted to keep very sharp was for chopping the trees, the notches.
56. Who's this?
Are you in need of any more firewood?
Do you have some?
I've got some up here on the, no, stay up the road. Don't turn the corner like you're going to talk on it out. Just go straight to the curb. Well, don't sit. Go straight to the curb.
While I was here splitting, somebody pulled in an SUV just now. It was a woman and her daughter, and she said right down the road here they've got some trees down. So see your connections, you know. She said, though, I'm not sure how good that wood would be. She said one was a Bradford pear. I cut 2 of those down for a guy one time, and man, what a job that was. I mean, not cutting them down wasn't hard really, but the branches, the amount of branches in those trees, those Bradford pears, I underbid the job big time when I did it. I didn't know what I was getting into. But I was doing landscaping for the guy and mowing for him, and I told him he wanted those trees down, and I cut them down for him all the way to the ground. And I think he ended up getting them stump grinded after that too. But man, the amount of branches in them was, oh man, it was, they're about all branches really, those Bradford pears. And she said Bradford pear and sugar maple, I think is what she was saying. So I don't know about Bradford pear, sugar maple, I don't know exactly about that either really.
Says she had 3 big pieces.
I'm not real good at telling the difference between maples. I know I think we've got silver maple, kind of like what she said, sugar maple, and red maple, I think, as well. I'd have to look it up. Maybe I'll put those on the screen. I'm trying to learn more about tree species. I'm very interested in it, and I'd like to teach my kids about it too. But anyway, I just wanted to say that's pretty neat. She stopped in just now and told us that she's right down the road here, so I can come in anytime and get it. So I've got plenty of wood to do this year. I'm even thinking about signing up for that LIHEAP program, which helps. They supply low-income families with firewood for the winter for their heat, and they help people with their electric bills and stuff too. But they have a firewood program, and they send you 3 people at a time usually, but everyone they sent me before was in Frenchburg, Menifee County, which is a real mountainy area. So I was in some kind of, when you're on bad roads, kind of some rough places I wouldn't want to take a trailer. That's why I'm happy to just put it in the truck, you know, with rails. But anyways, we'll get back to splitting. There's a lot of wood to split here still. That first piece, if I'm not mistaken, I got around 65 pieces. I think that one just now, yeah, but I got more after that. And then that one just now, I think I got 55. So these rounds actually had more wood in them than I thought they did. And these are the hollow ones. But these are also the bigger ones that were at the base of the tree. So those 2 rounds made that. Well, yeah, those 2 rounds made that much. Plus there were some little ones over here that I did. It's got a knot on the side, so I knew I had to go around that, like right there. Right here would be another spot. And here's the knot itself. Oak is usually some pretty tough stuff. Yeah, that's right on a knot. Big oak knot. Big hardwood knot. There we go. Man, what a piece of wood that is. Look at the grain in that. I was able to go right around that knot. The knotted one there. Oh yeah. Wow. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. There's a knotted piece of wood. Knotted. Wow. Yeah, that is some crazy grain right there. I don't want to go right here if I was going to finish that. Maybe we can get in this big round here. I wanted to say thank you as well, so I put some of your all's names, the channel names, in this video, because every now and then when I'm doing I guess you just call it editing, when I'm adding the audio in there like I am right now, I do it just on the spot, you know. It's not pre-planned or anything. I kind of just watch the video and kind of whatever I'm thinking about, you know, whatever the video kind of brings to mind or makes me want to talk about or whatever. And then some things that are on my mind as well. That's kind of what I speak on. But I wanted to thank you all, and I didn't want to feel like I was leaving anybody out because there's so many different people. But Grizzly Ridge Runner is somebody that I appreciate so much as well. And I think, I'm not sure if he was watching me before I started trucking or after, but he's been very supportive, very kind,
Daniel Atkins always has been. Daniel Atkins is just a supportive person. I've seen him support other people as well. And he did a video here recently of I was watching it earlier of him hand splitting, and he mentioned me in that video, and I was very happy to hear that. You know, he said that he watched my channel a lot, and that made me happy. It really did. I like Daniel. He's just a really laid back guy, and very, very kind, very good natured, positive. Somebody that has a good energy about him. You know, when you're watching him. Things that the kind of things that can cheer you up maybe if you're down. And so keep up the good work, Daniel. I enjoy watching you as well, and I'm very thankful for your comment and for the shout out. And Chris with the Rural Project from Australia, Peter from Germany, Rick, there's so many people on here. Gary, the guy that gave me the axes, everybody I'm thankful to. I'm thankful to everybody, and me and Carter really enjoy doing this, and it's starting to feel like firewood season now, and it excites me, you know, even talking about it right now. It makes me excited, and I'm sure, I truly believe other people that do firewood, I think they know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm very excited for this season. It's been picking up. Somebody messaged me yesterday about it. And I added another video recently too to the membership videos, and it's just a video of me and Carter loading this wood here, but kind of talking as I go. Because normally what I do if I'm loading the wood like that, I'll put it in fast forward. I'll speed it up to where it goes about 10 times faster or something like that, and I'll add audio in it. But rather than doing that, from now on, what I plan to do is when we're loading and when we're delivering and unloading, maybe even so long as the customers don't mind, you know, because I don't care to ask. I plan to do some extra footage of us, you know, talking about the unloading process and stuff like that. I thought that would be interesting, the ride-along videos, the unloading videos, and maybe some videos of talking while we're out there as well. Carter was calling it stump talk or something, where you sit on a round of wood and talk. That was kind of his idea, actually, and which is a pretty good one. But anyways, so that's kind of the idea with the memberships, the kind of stuff that I plan to add in. And I plan to have a lot more firewood content, honestly. I may show some other things as well in the future. Trucking probably won't be one of them, I'll be honest with you. I'm very happy when I get comments from people saying that, you know, I influenced them to start trucking and inspired them to, and from watching my videos. That makes me happy, because it is a good career for the right person. And I'm not saying I'm entirely done with my CDL either, but I have no plans of going back anytime soon, though, at the same time. But that being said, most of the content will be firewood content from here forward, and I'll add some other content as well. Like I'll little things I do as far as small engine repair and stuff like that, work mechanics, just anything that's more outdoors. You know, that's why I never changed my name, because somebody said, you know, that I should change my name to like the axeman trucker or something like that, and I knew in my mind that trucking it long term, definitely over the road at least, was not what I was going to do. I always had it in my mind that I wanted to do towing, but I knew that trucking was a good way to make a lot of money in a short amount of time. But anyways, I don't regret anything. I'm very thankful for all the experience that I've got over the years from all the different things that I've done. I've never enjoyed anything quite like I have working for myself, not even close. And firewood, if I could do firewood full time, you know, summer and winter, I would do it. Now, that being said, it's a lot less enjoyable in the summer when you're hand splitting, doing this kind of work, or any type of physical work, really. You know, using a log splitter even in the summer, I would guess, would not be near as enjoyable as it is in the fall and winter. But so it makes sense, really, that in the fall and winter, you know, that lots of people do the firewood. But at the same time, I like to split the wood, you know, and then let it, if it isn't seasoned already, it seasons much quicker if you go ahead and split it. Because I've had lots of people tell me, you know, you're not supposed to split wood green. Well, there is no supposed to or not supposed to one for one thing. But if you go ahead and split your wood, it will season a lot quicker. I do agree, though, that many woods split better once they are seasoned. Some species aren't even worth messing with unless they're seasoned, like sycamore and elm, for example. The two hardest I've ever hand split in my life. But you can see Carter back there with me. He's glad to just be going with me again. And usually what he does, he'll make little shelters and stuff a lot of times while I'm hand splitting. He's got a good imagination. He's kind of like I was when I was a little boy, me and my mom and dad split up when I was little, and my brother lived with my mom a lot of times. I lived with my dad, and I went back and forth, but it was mainly that way, you know, once we got a little older. And so I developed a pretty good imagination. Carter is like that as well. You know, kids are different. Like him, he's actually very mature. Of course, he's a little boy, but he's very mature, you know, for his age. Camden, on the other hand, he's maturing a lot. He'll be 8 in December. But he's very reckless, Camden is. He's very reckless. He's somebody that, like Carter, you know, he was swinging an axe at 10 years old. He's 11 now, almost 12. Camden, I don't know that I would trust with an axe at that same age. So kids are different. You got to make your best judgment on things like that. But Carter's wanting to swing his axe again really bad too. I gave him that Fisker's chopping axe, the one I got my leg with, because it's a lot better for his size, and it'd make a good splitting axe. Actually, the profile on it, I believe it'd be a great splitter. But I want him to have some chainmail first before he does it. So he is wanting to split again, and I plan to let him split. But not until I get him some sort of protection. He's saying that's what he's wanting for his birthday, actually, his chainmail. So that's how bad he's wanting to split wood. But as you can see, this location here too, it's a beautiful location. That's one of my favorite parts about doing firewood, is the locations I get to go, the places I get to see, the environments I'm in. You know, you can't really beat that. It's hard to beat it. And these memories are just, I mean, they're such good memories. Even, you know, just now on YouTube, we've been on there officially over 2 years now. And when I look at some of these videos and the people I was talking to, some of you all on here and stuff, it's very good memories to me. Now that I think about it, my first year, and I think my first tree, the woman that gave me this oak right here, now that I think about it, it's neat to think this way, but the woman that gave me this oak, her husband gave me the wood, my very first tree. And believe it or not, I didn't know much about firewood at the time. It was a pine tree. So I went and got a bunch of pines from him. Right back behind me there across the road, they own a lot across from her home back there too. And that's where I got it from. I went and got that pine and split it and loaded it up and got stuck. And he pulled me out with his tractor. I had a Saturn View and a 5x10 utility trailer. But anyways, I was just happy to have wood. And I mixed that pine in with other wood and sewed it. It was big rounds of pine too, big pine trees. Split pretty good too. If I'm not mistaken, it was seasoned. But I know pine is not very desirable because of the creosote, and then because it burns up so quick. Soft wood. Probably doesn't give. I'm not sure about the BTUs. But anyways, that's neat. I just kind of thought of that. The same, you know, people that I'm getting this wood from right now are the same ones that gave me, you know, except her husband's dead now, you know, but it's the woman and her son are still there, and they're the same ones that gave me the pine. The pine, my first tree when I started. And then my neighbor, when he seen I was doing it, he told me about his cousin. He said, yeah, my cousin owns a tree service. He said he'd probably be glad to give you the wood. And so I ended up talking to his cousin, and he stayed busy with tree service, and he would call me, you know, to come get it, and I'd take my trailer out there. I'd put the gate down on it. The gate was very handy on the utility trailer, I'll say that. And I made it work with a Saturn View and a utility trailer. And now there were times I struggled for sure, but I made it work. I think for my first 2 or 3 years, I made it work with my Saturn View like that. I think my first 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think after my third year is when I got my Dodge Ram, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be wrong. I could have done it with the Saturn View for 3 years. Anyways, I was very happy to get a 4-wheel drive when I finally did. But I remember one delivery I did here in Kentucky. It was, the driveway was up a mountain, and I tried so hard. I had a full cord of wood behind a full cord, literally. I had the 5x10 utility trailer filled up, stacked up, and I had rails built onto it, these wooden rails. So I had it about 3 feet deep, you know, 5 feet wide and 10 feet long. And I had it filled up, if I'm not mistaken. I've got a picture of it. I think I posted in a recent video, actually. And I got there with this cord of wood and got to this driveway that they told me to get to. You know, they gave me the address and everything. And I tried to get up it probably 4 different times and got almost to the top every time, and then had to back down. And that trailer was pulling me backwards and some other guy, he seen me backing down. And he was sitting there waiting for me to get down at the bottom. He ended up pulling up. He was needing to get up the driveway, and he said, man, you did really good with that. He said, I've jackknifed a trailer really bad on that hill. He said, you controlled it really good. And honestly, how I learned how to drive trailers was watching the guys. When I worked for Todd, I watched the guys that did it there. I just paid attention to them a lot. And then when I started pulling my own trailer, it was a 5x10. You know, wasn't too hard. The smaller ones turn a lot sharper, a lot quicker. But I got pretty good at that. And later on, I bought me a dual axle 6x14. I got it custom made by the same guy that did the 5x10. And I've had longer trailers than that as well. If I'm not mistaken, I've had a 16-footer. But I've pulled the 20-footers before. Now I've pulled 53-footers, you know, semi-trailers. So I've got quite a bit of experience with trailers, honestly. I'm pretty comfortable pulling a trailer. And I enjoy using them, honestly, in certain areas that you can get into. They can be very dangerous in other areas, especially when the roads are bad. But the gate on them makes it very handy because when you go to get wood, you can row these big rounds right up on it. Instead of trying to lift them like you got to do in a truck bed, you can row them right up on your trailer. And there's been deliveries I've done in the past. They've had a porch or something like that. I'll back my trailer up to it and let my gate down, and I can literally walk across that gate right onto their porch, you know. So that there are definitely advantages to trailers. But I've got some ideas as far as how I want to deliver and stuff. And I know I've said that stuff a lot. And I've shown lots of different things and talked about lots of different ideas. And things have changed along the way. I'm literally showing you all my life. You know, it's something I don't have to do. It's something I'm choosing to do. And it's something I enjoy doing. And really is talking to different people on YouTube, meeting different people. I've met a lot of people through trucking. You know, there's people in trucking. I remember when I was trucking, a guy came up to me one day. I was fueling up at one of the rail terminals. And he was kind of smiling and walked up and he said, "I've been watching your videos on YouTube." He said, I commented to you on there. And it seemed like it was really neat for them, you know, because I met more than one when I worked for rail that had been watching me on YouTube. And 3, actually. And every one of them, it seemed like it was almost like they're just really surprised to see you in person when they see you. And I'm nothing special, but I guess like to other people, you know, they look at it as a big deal. Because one of the guys there even said, he said, "Man, I've never been around somebody with over 100,000 subscribers." He said, "Not even 10,000. He said, "It's crazy you got that many." And I said, "Nah, it's not that big of a deal. It's mainly my shorts, you know, that's got me the subscribers." And that's true. I think I was around 700 or something subscribers whenever, before my shorts really took off. And I noticed a lot of times with my videos, it seems like that's around the amount of views I get on my videos is at 700. And I believe there are some, I know there's some out of that 700 that are still there. And I think there's probably some that I've accumulated over time who subscribe to for the longer form videos. But definitely most of mine are shorts. Even now when I post shorts, you know, I get a lot more subscribers from the shorts than I do from the long form videos. But anyways, I do enjoy doing YouTube. I do. I enjoy it. It's like I've looked at some of these videos before, and I look at my kids, and like my little girl, she hardly had any hair in some of the videos, and now her hair is so long, so much longer. Anyway, she's almost 3 now, and you know, I look at the videos and I think, wow, this is a really good way for me to keep this stuff too. If something ever happened to me, you know, because you never know, or even, you know, if I live to be an old man, you know, my Lord willing, you know, if YouTube's still around and everything, my grandkids would be able to see it, Lord's will, you know, if I do have grandkids. I don't want to think about that anytime soon, but I'm saying it's a good way to keep record of things. I've met lots of good people on there that I like a lot. Lots of very friendly people. And as I said before, as far as helping other people, YouTube's a thing you can utilize to do that. There's a big reach on there. So you can get other people to help you help people. That's what I meant when I mentioned helping people with YouTube. There's a purpose that I say that. There's a purpose. I have plans. And it's not about trying to brag about myself as helping nobody or nothing. I don't believe in that at all. The only reason I mention it on YouTube is because I know that other people on YouTube can help me help people through memberships and stuff like that. And before I was, you know, through the likes and stuff like that, whenever that happened, that helps push your videos out there more when I was getting revenue from the ads, you know. So that's why I was saying it then. Now, you know, the memberships and stuff can help with that. So that's the whole purpose of me mentioning it. Not to exalt myself or nothing like that. It's because YouTube is a way to
This was around
to get a big audience and a lot of eyes on a certain issue that you're maybe trying to make a difference
I
in.
think
So
7 big
that's why I
pieces.
mentioned it on there. And later on, that'll make sense more, Lord willing, if
8 to 10
the things happen that I
not
want
so
to happen.
big pieces like this is the next.
But anyways, looks like
probably.
this video's coming to an
One here
end
that's
here. As
left.
you can see, we got quite a bit of
Actually
wood.
longer than you are.
It ended up filling the truck
Anyway,
bed up,
that's it.
and as you can see there, and there was still some left as well. And then back there behind us, there's still wood left from the other day when I went up there and split. But I look forward to the future with this and everything, with work. Plan to do a lot of
We really
firewood
cleaned that hill
this
up
winter.
there.
You all be safe
got some
out
more
there.
work to do, but
Thank
man,
you
we
for
made
all
a
the
lot of
kind
progress.
comments and everything. God bless.